Michelle Stauffer is there too. Good. I love her.
Okay, go ahead and mute yourself. We can't hear you. We can't hear the PLC. We can't hear you. The Positive Living Center is muted.
There we go. Try that now.
Okay,
How
good.
about that?
It's good.
Okay, good. Well, welcome back to the Positive Living Center. It is the very end of April. This has been a long, long month. But spring is here. Doesn't it feel good? Oh my gosh. I have friends in Clovis and Fresno that went to the Clovis Rodeo, and they said they just baked down there. I guess it was like 97, 98 degrees for that rodeo. So I don't feel like I missed much. I said, well, it's 78 up here. We're doing just fine. That's tough. Oh boy. Welcome to those on Zoom with us this morning. The year 2023, as you know, has been deemed the year of living from one's core values. And the themes for April are consistency, commitment, and courage. And I'll ask our musician to come up this morning and maybe play a little background music for us as we get ready to go into meditation this morning. This is Mr. Jim Savarino. I think you guys remember him. It's always good to have Jim back.
Yeah, good to be here.
Let's listen to Jim play a little bit and then we'll go into meditation.
Stardust boy, born to form, ocean inside, hear the tide. Wood to paper, jar to ink, writing down the words we think. Every thought is falling sand, wander back where life begins.
This is our time to shine. This spring we open up like all the plants and trees. We discover our newness, our commitment to ourselves and to others. Let us move forward and upward each moment of each day from this time forward. And so it is. Thank you, Jim. That was wonderful. As always, we have a spiritual thought for you. I'm going to bring Reverend Kim Haley up for that. Kim, let's give her some love.
Can you see me? I was told last week you couldn't see me very well. Anyway, good morning. Good morning. Nice to be here. Nice to see your faces. Let's take a real nice, close our eyes and take a nice deep breath. And let it out. Consistency, commitment, and courage. I fed those themes into my mind. I slept on them. I walked with them, and sometimes they were forgotten in the day-to-day, or so I thought. I was coming out of a very deep sleep a few weeks ago, and the first thought popped in about these themes, and the word was connection. And I thought, okay, connection. And I thought, and I pick a card every day. I pick cards, they're very nice cards. And this is an animal card, and I picked the dragonfly, which was not a coincidence. I don't believe in them. But it says, it offered this message. You exist in unity with all, including the protective spirits who share their wisdom, and you are being nudged along the path your soul needs to travel to have the experiences it craves. And I believe that's for everybody. It's not just for me, or else I wouldn't be here giving you this message today. And so the idea of connection, I waited again, there's this mystery. I love the mystery of life, and there is a mystery. We don't have all the answers, but we can sure feel things coming to us at different times, and that nudge is there. I also waited again, and it was just a few days ago. It also comes to me after I awaken, or if I meditate. Things come up, they bubble up to the surface. And I was thinking about my past, the connection to my own past, and what was always there. What was a consistent thing that was always in my past? And one of the things was the beauty and joy of the wonder of this world. There's been a lot of other things, but that's what pulled me through a lot of hard times, is seeing the wonder and the joy of what is around me, because I'm open to it. So nature. And also in John, and I believe it was in your talk too, Joe, you're talking about when things are going crazy around us, we can sit, we can be still, and we can wait, and we can wait. And as we do that, and we let go, and we wait, things bubble to the surface. And one of the things that we were talking about, one of the things that we would call that sitting and waiting is like meditating. It is like a meditation. And things will come up in your meditation. And they'll say, how about this? How about this? How about you try this? So there's inspiration that's below the surface. And I think the way of wonder is what I wanted to say my life is about. When I was reflecting back on my childhood, reflecting back on a lot of different things that happened, I always thought the awe and wonder of the universe is what pulled me through. That connection and knowing that there was something that I was connected to that was bigger than all the problems and all the things that were in front of me. And so through all the adapting and the adjusting, the consistency of curiosity has been there with me. And I felt like over the years, because now I'm, ripening, over the years, I have had this female and male inside of me that are getting along now in my psyche and coming together in union. And it's a creative force. When you sit there and you let these things come together for you, it's a creative force that's being born every day, every minute, every second. There is a creative force for us. It's a consistent thing. That's the consistency for all of us that's in back of everything. It's always there. We just have to open to it sometimes, or realize it, or remember it. So that's what I was thinking about. And I think nature, being here in the natural world more so than in a city. I'm not saying it doesn't happen in a city. You can find this energy anywhere. But for me, I feel much better in the forests and in the trees and in the countryside or the rural areas. I feel unencumbered by too much input, sorry. And so it helps me to connect to this energy that is like an underground river flowing. It's flowing, it's always flowing, and we can dip into it whenever we want to. And so I can find it in an inspirational story that somebody shares with me about how they've triumphed over adversity in their life. I can see it in the face of a baby or a child or kitten or a dog or a frog that sings to me. I can see it in a poem or a sunset or the northern lights. And I can feel so much gratitude for that upliftment that comes by being in the natural world, by seeing what is there and working for us all the time. And we need only open to it. And a great way to do that is to sit and wait. Like John had talked about that, and Joe, right? You talked about waiting it out. Sometimes things are happening, you just sit down. And Eckhart Tolle would say, stillness speaks, quiet speaks. And I believe that. I have to do that to myself because I get very excited about a lot of things. I get going, I get very enthusiastic, and I can go, woo, and I start buzzing, and I have to go, breathe, just breathe. Anyway, talking about the source that is within us, and we have our center and the cure for our angst, and it is encouraging to us to be and be consistent with the force within our own hearts and all our hearts, waking us to the power of life and love. From this position, we can create such beauty. We can live in a state of pure grace within ourselves in the quiet stillness of our own minds, which is really the one mind. And that's a way we can feel it. So I encourage you, which means being of the heart, to open your heart, to give yourself the time and the support that you want and possibly need. The voice of love from the underground stream is flowing, a consistency in our lives, and we find it in so many ways. And this force gives us the power to adapt and adjust through a continuity, a connection to all that is. And I am reminded of the line from a Rolling Stone song. If you try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need. And so it is.
Yes.
Thank you, Reverend Kim.
You're welcome.
Jim, you have a song for us? It's good to have you back here.
Well, thanks. Good to be back.
Jim, welcome back home.
Thanks, Judy. Well, themes. I think this song touches on all of the themes of courage, commitment, and consistency. Is that right?
Mhm.
This song, it's called The Sapling, and it's about the people that have been in my life, and or people that are, on the, in everybody's life, like Gandhi or Mother Teresa, but they're like a sapling. They don't break. They bend, and they bend, and they never break. And so that's to me embodies all the three C's of today's message, and strength and all kind of things. But this is for them. Everybody, sure you have people in your life like this that may they always inspire us.
My life is like a sapling in the wind. If you move me from the path I was meant to grow, I'll return. Though the motion may appear exceedingly slow, and if I seem to stray from my chosen one, I'm just following the light of the moon. It'll be washed away by the light of the morning sun. Traverse the years so quickly, hardly noticing the time. A modern Don Quixote, following so in line, holding to lofty goal amid laughter, amid scorn, refusing to let go, though the hands are bent and torn. My life is like a sapling in the wind. If you move me from the path I was meant to grow, I'll return. Though the motion may appear exceedingly slow, the times are always different, though the stories seem the same. Caught up in a cycle, we can't escape the game. While on the dark horizon, storm clouds gather low, until we feel surrounded, no place left to go. My life is like a sapling in the wind. If you move me from the path I was meant to grow, I'll return. Though the motion may appear exceedingly slow, I see so much injustice, though I really don't know why. Feel like I can't change the world, but you know I have to try. For if I reach one person, if I speak the truth, I'll finally reach the place I saw in the dreams of my youth. My life was like a sapling in the wind. I was pulled from the path I was meant to grow, but I returned. Though it took more time than I could ever know.
Wonderful, thank you, Sharon. I found it interesting that Reverend Kim talked about connecting with nature. That's what I've been doing too. It seems ever since spring has sprung, I think maybe we are all feeling that now. Because I could just sit, if you just sit and look out toward the forest area, you see nothing initially, and all of a sudden you see all kinds of life, don't you? It just comes to life around us. We've got a couple of cats, no longer kittens, and they're bounced up all by the windows of the back yard area, just looking at everything out there, wanting to play. It's just this is my favorite time of the year, starting in the spring, and it's a new beginning for each of us each year. So thank you for mentioning that. It's time for our main speaker. That'd be Rev Judy DeRosa. Good morning, Judy. Good morning. No, yeah.
Good morning. When we take that time to get quiet and to observe, we join with everything that vibrates around us. All that life, all that beauty, all that new growth. How we become is through our being, through our willingness to hold that courage that is always there within inside of us. I think about the indigenous people and the courage that it took for them to live on this land, to know what they could eat, to know when it was time to travel, to know where to sleep safely, to know how to care for their children with no electricity, no running water from a tap, but there was running water from the ground. We are in that place of great gratitude, of understanding that our relation with all things is a term of Om Takwyasin. For all my relations, we know that we are connected to them, whether it walks or crawls or flies or grows from the ground or swims. That courage is a seed within us. As I walk this land, I see things that have grown that I have not seen in years. The plant kingdom has sprung alive. They've waited for just that right timing. They've waited in their dormancy, in their rest period, in that place where they've landed with all the other seeds. Everything seems to work itself out. Everything seems to be planted in a way that's divinely planned. When we get blown off the course of our path, we have an opportunity to search deeper for our courage is to step back on that path, or to say, no, I'm done. I don't need this path anymore. It's knowing that and trusting yourself and making a new commitment. In the morning, I like to thank the universe for all the opportunities that it has given me just by opening my eyes. I look at the east, and that is my place for new beginnings. That is where the sun rises up over the mountaintops. It is the place of light and warmth. I look at the south, and it is the place of warmth and fire. And my playful inner child girl still loves to go out, walk in the grass with no shoes on. It is the energy of the South that I think rides within every single one of us to want to play and want to laugh. And we want to remember that we've done this hundreds of times before. And I look towards the west, and I know that's the place of water. It's the source of intuition. It is the sun set. And it is that place of washing away false beliefs, washing away old belief systems that no longer serve you. And when I look at the north, I think of all my ancestors, all of them. We represent. We are their best. And that encourages us to do our best. And as I look at the night sky and I see the vastness that brings us to the mystery, we know that we are connected to that stardust, that we carry it within our DNA. And as we welcome that, we know that we are entwined with everything alive and everything that has happened on this planet, because we know to our core something we've forgotten. And it just reminds us that that mystery is us. We carry it within ourself. And in the morning, I think of Source, of Great Spirit, of all that is, of all the names that are connected to that creation. God, Goddess, Buddha, Master Teachers. With this knowing, it gives me courage. So I'm going to tell you a little story, and it kind of reminds me of Angelo and his stories. But I get a phone call, and my call is from a lovely woman who I did a memorial for her husband who passed 8 years ago. And Patricia is a beautiful woman, just beautiful. And her husband that she deeply loved, they admired each other so much. They supported each other. They cared so deeply that when he passed, she said, I don't know. Can I live? Can I live without this person? So I did the service for Iron Man. And all the steel workers were there to support Patty. And so this phone call 8 years later was, Judy, will you do a wedding for me? And I went, well, of course I will. But I need to meet your beloved. She goes, okay. So they come up. He had had a stroke a couple months before. And he's this man that's a representative for the ironworkers. And he's strong and he's loving. And you would never know he had just had a stroke because she gave him all her curandera healing remedies she could think of. He had an eye dragging down, his lips wouldn't close right, he couldn't sleep at night. He limped terribly, and she loved him so much. She gave him all her wisdom and all her healing and all the alternatives that she could think of, along with what all the medical industry gave him. And he walked in when I met him, and he looked like this brand new man. And I went, wow, Mitchell, I'm so glad to meet you. And the courage that it took, she said, I didn't know if I should call you, but I wanted you to do this ceremony. We don't want 100 people. We don't want all the family. We just want a sweet, intimate connection, a commitment. So on Thursday, we went to Yosemite. And the party grew a little bit. It was supposed to be 4, it ended up 14. And it was beautiful. It was across from the chapel on the Merced River. The river was roaring through. It is a part of taking risks in our lives. It is a part of saying, yes, I can do this. Yes, I'm going to try again. Yes, I'm going to love someone, not the same way, but in a different way. So before Iron Man passed, he and Patricia were sitting at a big gathering, and he said, you know, Patty, if something ever happened to me, you see that guy over there? I'd love it if you married him and had a good life with him. And that was Mitch. That was the man that Iron Man had picked for her. And she told me, she says, I talked to him all the time. He bought me some chimes right before he passed. And I go sit and I stand by the tree and I look up at these chimes and I talk to him. So I drug Mitch over to talk to Iron Man. And he said, I'll do that. So they sat quietly And they had this sense of permission, of beyond the visible connection, of the love and the deep respect that each person holds if they allow it. We all have to make a commitment to ourselves. We've all gone through trials. But when we get up in the morning and we speak to the universe, and the universe speaks back to us, we know we're doing something right. We know we're doing something true for our heart, not just for us. When we're our best, everyone around us benefits. Everyone around us. Our animals know that. The things we plant knows that. When I walk into the garden, I feel like my garden goes, hey, I'm growing here. We are so connected on so many invisible levels and layers that we have to give ourselves that a knowing. I know that everything around me is divinely created. Everyone I love has been divinely created. And we're here testing ourselves all the time. And it reminds me of a man sitting in a boat as he casts his line out. He has this great anticipation, this great joy of expectation. Will I catch a fish? Or will I catch a rock? But the truth is, you're catching Creator as you're floating in that boat through the air and the water and all your surroundings. And it doesn't matter what you bring back home. It matters that you walked out of your door and you did something connected to Mother Earth, to a life force, to the beauty that surrounds us all the time. And it's our job to see the birds fly. It's our job to throw the fish back. It's our job to be the best we can. And it reminds me of the old poem of row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 merrily. Because life is but a dream. A hug.
Reconnection. I love it. It goes on and on, doesn't it? It's beautiful. Thank you, Rev. It is time for our offertory. Could I get a couple of people to help me with that this morning? Here comes one. I guess you're on your own, buddy. Okay. Let's do the offertory statement before we go.
Yes.
Ready? Divine love flowing through me, blesses and increases all that I give and all that I receive. Good luck, buddy. He's amazing.
Not too late. I'm not taking any more. Come on now, you gotta try to.
It's good to see Reverend Sandy back with us. Yeah. Her and her sis went on a fabulous journey, and on the way back, they stopped in and visited with Reverend Angelo too. So that's always nice. Way to go, way to go, Cody.
There you go. Thank you.
Do we have anybody here for the first time today? Raise your hand and be recognized. Yes. Would you mind standing and give us your name?
Hi, I'm Jackie Stringer. I've seen some of you before. I've been in a class with Luana.
Oh, yes. Hi, Jack.
And I joined online, but this is my first time.
Excellent. I think there's a young man back there that's here for the first time too. Yes, sir. That would be you. Would you mind giving us your name and where you're from?
My name is Rev Judy DeRosa. I'm from Simi Valley, California. I'm Judy's brother, and happy to be here and meet everybody.
Wonderful. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Fabulous. Anybody else? Nobody else looks familiar to me. Good. How about online? Anybody on Zoom that's here for the first time? No? All veterans. Okay, good. Thank you. Any announcements this morning? LJ, you have an announcement?
Oh, sure,
I thought you did.
I do. Just a reminder that the class is starting today at 11:30. So if you'd like to join in on that class, it's of the one, and we're making it up as we go along with some practices and with some personal stories and expressions about how we recognize we are of the one, how it shows up in our lives. Yes, Judy? Thank you.
That was my line.
Well, I didn't know if it was, okay, never mind. Never mind.
Yes.
It's all good.
The class is gonna go as it goes, is that what you said?
It's going.
It's gonna go?
I'm gonna do 2 announcements.
2 announcements.
One announcement is for the Food Circle. That is the second Saturday of the month at 2:00. And John Lalonde has been kind enough to lead this. And it's open if you want to learn to do flutes. And if you don't, you can come listen. You do have flutes for people to play?
I do.
Yeah, so you don't even have to have a flute. And that goes until 3:30. And we've come in and listened, and it's wonderful to hear the native flutes. And then after that, at 4:00, is the drum circle. And the drum circle is from 4 to 5. You don't have to have a drum for that either. We have a great big mother drum here. And you can listen, you don't have to play a drum. We've got rattles and ceremony and a helping to remember.
Thank you. Well, she says you don't have to get involved, but we showed up once and she made us play. But I did all right. Anybody else? All right.
I feel like I'm running onto like the court,
You are.
play basketball.
You're running all the time.
I truly am. A wonderful thing has happened in our little community. There are 2 beautiful women, Jeannie and Ariel Tarell, and they've started a nonprofit called Brain Drops. And they also started a little shop. It's I Love That and Jenny's Couture. And they're having their
kind of grand opening today at 2 o'clock. And it's where Cool Beans is. It's just down toward the laundromat. And they're real excited. So I would just encourage everyone to come in and meet them. They kind of melted my heart because they asked me if I would donate a water filtration system to them so that they could give away free water, pure water to anyone who wanted to have it or needed it. And that's my kind of women. So anyways, I would go see them today at 2.
Great, Bonnie, thank you. Anybody else? Yes, come on up here.
Oh, we're gonna be playing music, by the way. I got a bunch of music.
You gonna play some music too out there? Okay.
Yeah, you guys.
Music and free water.
Yeah.
I like it. Yes, I'll make you come up here so they can hear you. on Zoom.
Hello, my name's
Hello.
Juliet,
Hi, Juliet.
and so yesterday was the opening of the art exhibition Au Natural at Oakhurst Spirits, and it's going to be happening again all month, but today as well. I put a flyer up in front at 12 to 5 today at Oakhurst Spirits, and I have 3 pieces in the show. Please go and support. You can vote for your favorite artist.
Oh.
Which would be you.
Which I'm not biased. You don't have to be biased. You know, do what you want. But yeah, please go support some local artists. I would really love that. There's 20 artists in there, and so I saw some of you there yesterday. So
That's great.
thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes. Good morning, dear.
Spiritual discussion group, 5:30 Tuesday night. The word is adaptability. That's our topic.
Oh, very good.
And you can get the information on the iFocus on how to join our Zoom.
Thank you very much. Thank the Lord. Okay, our prayer partner this week is Reverend Kim Haley. Yay! Now I want to sit back for a moment and remind the people on Zoom, I think you, since you've all been here so long, you know how to give and tithe. If you go into the iFocus email, you can receive, you go to a green button in there, and it has easy instructions on how to give to the PLC. We sure appreciate your funds to keep our doors open and pay the bills and enjoy our time together. So thank you for that. Next week's speaker is Reverend Sandy West. Again, welcome back, Sandy. Don't be gone so long again. I didn't like that. Don't do that. And it's time for our prayer protection. Will you say with me, please? The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me. The energy of God is me. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. Thank you. Jim, you have another song for us?
Sure. Be careful, never ask the songwriter.
You got 40 songs for us.
I'll pick something that. So, and I needed something not in my hand. Just a second. Capo. Barney, got a capo in your pocket. Only had half of one. It's actually good sometimes, but not today. I'll do something different here. This is from West Virginia, from a tombstone, from the Civil War time. Somebody came back. So it's part song and part ghost story, because the one I found this graveyard walking in the woods out in Marshall County, Ohio County border, and it said Commonwealth of Virginia. So it was, people from early days when it was still Virginia. And I was looking at these two sisters who died, their tombstones, and one said she faltered along the wayside and the angels took her home, and the other one, I just didn't hear what it was on this, but so the strange part was somebody came out and told me the story of this woman, and I was just crying and writing, and that's the first time I ever wrote a song in one sitting, And then I realized I didn't write that song. Somebody told me this thing, gave that to me, so follow me.
After much too long I wandered home, searched for my lost love, but she was gone. I walked alone where we stood hand in hand. I saw a small white marble stand. I knew my love was gone before I read that stone. I knew my empty life I would live alone. I said goodbye through the tears I shed, and beneath her name these words I read. Don't cry for me, don't weep my dear, I am not dead, just sleeping here. When my grave you come to see, prepare for death, follow me. Now once more I wander and I roam. I will never call these hills my home, till my soul flies free. I have died, and they bury me at my left side. Don't cry for me, don't weep my dear, I am not dead, just sleeping here. When my grave you come to see, prepare for death, follow me. Prepare for death, follow me.
Thank you for the information about that song before you played it. It was gorgeous. Gorgeous. Reverend Sandy, you come up and pray us out, please.
The little things in life. If you close your eyes, please. And just allow the music to flow through you that Jim has been giving us. Music speaks to our hearts, it heals us, it loves us. It is part of the way of source, the sound. It is so important. And as we go out this week, I share that each and every one of us is blessed with the music of nature, that the wildflowers dance in our hearts, and the breeze and the clouds, all of it, warming us and setting us free as we grow and evolve. For as nature is blooming, so are we. And I give such glorious thanks that we have this opportunity, that we are growing, loving, becoming more, and that life is never ending in its wonder. And say with me, please, and so it is.
Thank you all very much for being here today. Have a great week. We'll see you again next Sunday.